What is up, y'all? I'm Benjamin Outdoors, and this is my channel.
Welcome back, y'all. So today I'm actually working on the S1000 for one of the last few videos. I'm putting on the fairings today, so I'm super excited. So let me show you a few things before I get into it. So when Reese from Built From The Bottom ordered this fairing kit, they left out a very important piece to the fairing kit. It was this side piece. It goes right here. And so obviously it would be hard to try to match that one, so I was gonna go black. And he gave me this one, which it was bent. So, you know, it is what it is. So I had to acquire some of these pieces, a full set, somewhere else. Well, I was talking to my buddy, RK Motorsports, and he said he had a couple extra from one of his projects. So I paid him a little bit of money, and he sent them to me. So they look pretty good. So I have that fixes that issue. So I don't have to worry about that now, thankfully. Shout out to RK for getting me those. So it's gonna be a little bit of black here, which won't be that big a deal. There's already gonna be a ton of gold on this thing anyway. I mean, it's got the gold chain, gold forks, gold Brembos, gold fairings, I mean, gold flakes. I mean, there's so much gold on this, it's fine if I don't have those gold pieces. So anyway, let's get into it. So I gotta make sure all the clips are on here so I can screw everything in there. So the biggest problem with these Chinese fairings is they don't come with a good bolt kit. Now I have two different bolt kits right here, and I'm acquiring some of the hardware from that, but then I have a bunch of hardware from previous teardowns, and like there's so many specialty clips and stuff like that that you can get some of the bolt kits, but it just doesn't come with exactly what you need. So I have to acquire what I can when I can, but if you're disassembling your wrecked bike or whatever, or your old set of fairings, make sure you take all the hardware off. So that's one of my tips for aftermarket fairings, because it can be a huge pain to try to get everything where it needs to go without the special clips. These are honestly the hardest things to come by. I mean, this one came with a bunch in this kit, but they weren't the right size, really. I have a bunch of small bolts, but these are all for the large bolts, which, you know, preferably I'd want the small bolts, but, you know, it is what it is. Solid. Now let's do the other side. So I got both headlights screwed in, tightened down, so we're good there. Now I got a bunch of clips on the actual headlights, so those are going to screw into these spots. But I gotta find some more of these pieces. So I'm gonna have to go through my bin of stuff. Like I found one already. Just gonna have to go through here to find one that fits. So I'm looking through everything and I found a bunch of them, but this one is slightly too long. I got two of the right sizes, including the one that was already on the bike. And then I have a couple of these shorter. So they should work pretty well, but we're gonna do too short, too long. So I went to the store to try to find some more of these like U-shaped like flange nuts or whatever these things are called. And I could not find any 5mm or any for that matter. But I have plenty of 6. That's what these big bolts are. But I don't have many of the 5mm. So I ended up having just to order a pack on Amazon. They're not going to be here for like 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks. So I dug into my hardware for my jigsaw. So I found a couple more. I'm still short one, but I'm trying to fit them all on, and it looks like having some difficulty over here. So I had to shave down part of that fairing so I could get it to line up and fit properly in these little slots. So I'm going to trim up this side, put this one in, put both the fronts on, and then probably leave one of these off until I get that kit. But it's a 160 piece kit, and I'd recommend you getting it if you're going to be rebuilding a bike from scratch. It's like $30 to get 106 pieces. I mean, a bunch of the M8s, M6s, M5s. For some reason, these fairing bolt kits, at least the ones that I got, only came with the M6. Anyway, let's put these on, and we'll put the bottom of the tail section on, and then we'll get a few more pieces on. So I'm at the point to wire everything up, which would be hook up the tail light, the turn signals, and the tag light. So we got integrated turn signals. That's what these wires are for. I already plugged in the actual tail light. And then this nice little unit came with the this tag setup. I paid $100 for this tag setup, and it came with a little plug that plugged into the OEM harness and then branched off for the actual tag light, and then it actually has pigtails for the turn signals. So I'm going to cut these short, and then basically solder them together so it, you know, looks as nice as it could be, like something like that. Got some issue with the electrical. It's only blinking for like half a second. So whenever I get this issue figured out with why the turn signals are not staying on, then it'll be good. So I had to get longer bolts at the store because the bolts that came with these mirrors did not fit. Because this is just a general mirror, it's not made custom for the S1000, so hopefully this fits, but I'm not counting on it. There's already a big space gap that I had to fill. So I took the head back off because I had an issue with this hump lining up with the cluster, which actually it kind of looks like this thing is messed up. It does not look like it's in the right shape. So I might just have to try to manipulate that. But this has been sitting in a box / on the bike for a while, and these cheap fairings, they like to, you know, retain memory. And if they sat inside of, like, you know, the box they came in wrong, because sometimes they don't package them really well, they'll like retain that shape. And it's really hard to get that kind of out because that's supposed to be shaped to go around the cluster, like right here. But it looks like it comes up and then dips down really sharply. Really sharp, at least. This is gonna be a little tricky because, like I said, this is a really old fairing kit, and I already had to use zip ties down here, drill holes, and basically zip tie those together because those holes down there didn't want to line up. Plus, I don't have really any clips, push clips. Like in this kit that I got, really was a huge mistake buying this clip kit because none of these fit any of my fairings. It was just a total waste of money on those clips. But anyway, let's see if we can get the windscreen on here to try to get this to hold the shape it needs to be, and then let's put it back on the bike. So I ordered a bunch of these clips, these like flange nuts. Well, they haven't come in yet, and it's gonna be a few weeks till they do, so I just used some of these like the well nuts to be able to hold the fairings together for right now, and I'm just gonna put these on until I get those nuts in. And one thing you do not wanna forget about is heat shield near the headers on the lower part of the fairings because it gets insanely hot, and especially these cheap Chinese fairings is they'll warp and bend super easy. So that's to prevent that from happening. So I might do a little bit more over here, maybe, maybe not, I don't know, but this is the main area that's gonna need a lot of heat protection. So I'm trying to button up loose ends, stuff like, you know, this inner piece like that, because it's just, you know, it has to line up with the, you know, upper and the side fairing at the same time. It just can be a little challenging. So anyway, I'm trying to do that, but since I don't have the hardware that I ordered, a bunch of the, I think the M6, like, or sorry, the M4, M6 or M4, I think this is M8. But I'm looking for the smaller stuff. I ordered a bunch of these clips, a variety actually, and since I don't have those yet, I'm having to substitute with zip ties to hold certain things. And I am using some of these bigger clips to hold. I just don't want to drill out holes bigger. Like this one, that fit I think an M8, and this barely fit in. It's real snug. But I'm gonna just try to do what I can. And then whenever the hardware gets here, I'll swap out what I need to. But I do like using zip ties on some things. I don't have the push pins. Push pins are typically used right here. I got a zip tie there and a zip tie right there. It holds it really well. I did get one of those U-shaped clips in here and on the other side. So the belly pan is pretty solid. I just have to get a bolt in here, tighten that thing up, a bolt in here, and then the rest of these either zip tied or bolted. One or the other, but I'm getting close. So I'm almost done. I just have a few more things to finish up on it. Like I think there's one piece right here, and then a few bolts to put in and wire up the turn signals for these lights, and then it'll be complete. But I'm gonna wash it right now because it's filthy, because these fairings have never had a bath because Reese never finished the build, and so there's no point in washing fairings if it's not done. So I'm about to wash them off because they're filthy. I mean, it's seen his warehouse and my garage, which I've done a lot of sanding and stuff in here recently, so a lot of this sand and dust is probably from actually this tank when I was doing work on it. Could have been from that too, but anyway, I'm going to mix up a bucket of soap, rinse this thing down, and clean her up.